Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're looking into the past at some of the most epic titles that turned 10 years old in 2025. So without any further ado, let's get started. 10. Undertale. Few games are as unrelentingly inventive as Undertale, a daring and distinct RPG adventure married to shoot-'em-up mechanics. Each turn-based battle determines the rules of a spin-off minigame, where your heart becomes a spaceship, weaving through projectiles that are associated in some ways with your foe. You can also use your powers of conversation or influence or begging to avoid battles altogether. Undertale thinks differently at nearly every step, and somehow does so with incredible finesse each time. Even so, the writing still manages to stand out as its greatest achievement. Your encounters with the ne'er-do-wells of this fantastical underworld are frequently hilarious, genuinely funny, not just funny for a video game, with razor-sharp writing and impeccably timed witticisms. You won't forget the ending, and you won't forget the people you meet on your journey. 9. Mad Max. Developer Avalanche absolutely nailed the post-apocalyptic world of the Mad Max movie in this video game tie-in. The game will have you constantly exploring and engaging in some of the best vehicular and hand-to-hand combat of that era. The only downside to this game is that its release was overshadowed by the release of Metal Gear Solid 5, and also the fact that the game got released so long after the movie because it did not do so well in terms of sales. Despite all the roadblocks at the time, today Mad Max is remembered fondly by players. 8. Assassin's Creed Syndicate. Syndicate marked a return to form for the Assassin's Creed franchise, and is in many ways a reminiscent of the fan-favourite Assassin's Creed 2. Protagonists Evie and Jacob Fry are a delight to follow around a city rife with corruption and opportunity. Syndicate follows in the long-running Assassin's Creed formula, presenting the same schema of a sprawling city packed with quests, but it also abandons some long-standing mechanics, upgrading the series' climbing and traversal mechanics with a new rope launcher tool. You hunt down Templars, collect bounties, and gather up collectibles when you're not building your own street gang, the Rooks. With two protagonists boasting different skill sets, a gang to manage, and the familiar host of Assassin's Creed goodies, it's easy to lose yourself in this version of 1868 London. 7. Dying Light. There are so many things to love about Dying Light. Its massive open world filled with tantalizing loot, breathtaking views, and untold dangers. Its exhilarating traversal system, which at first borrows the frenetic first-person parkour of Mirror's Edge, but eventually embraces the gleeful grappling hook insanity of Just Cause. Its distinctive day-night cycle and the inescapable tension that seeps into every moment as another deadly night draws near. Its monster-in-the-closet multiplayer, which lets us stalk our friends as a variety of grotesque creatures. The experience somehow feels cohesive and fresh, despite combining two overexposed concepts, zombies and open worlds. Ultimately, it's a better Mirror's Edge than Mirror's Edge, while also being a better Dead Island than Dead Island, and that's precisely why I couldn't put it down. 6. Bloodborne. Bloodborne isn't like most modern games. It doesn't ease you into the experience, slowly teaching you the rules and giving you time to understand its complex systems. Instead, it casts you as a regular person and throws you into a gothic world of violence and despair. And then it kills you, over and over and over again. Bloodborne's unforgiving nature is a large part of its appeal. The spiritual successor to the Dark Souls series, a game where every victory feels hard-won. The bosses are huge, grotesque monstrosities that will take every ounce of your skill to defeat. But even the standard enemies, the plague-inflicted inhabitants of Yharnam, can kill you. Bloodborne forces you to learn how it works, and then test your knowledge in the most brutal ways possible. It's a game where you will die a lot, but that only makes your eventual victory all the more satisfying. Now, be honest with me, did you smash any controllers or keyboards while playing this game? And if you're enjoying this video so far, let me know by hitting that like button. 5. Rise of the Tomb Raider. What was Lara Croft's latest adventure in 2015 managed to accomplish everything it intended. It molded the iconic character into a nuanced personality. It expanded its worlds to encourage exploration and immersion. It featured fluid, compelling combat. Rise of the Tomb Raider also tells a compelling story of moral grays, building a growing sense of unease. There are no cutscenes too long and no characters too contrived, and as you make your way through well-designed combat scenarios and platforming puzzles, it all swells to one of the most gripping climaxes of the year. Rise of the Tomb Raider is exceptional for how it builds on the 2013 Tomb Raider reboot. though it's spectacular in its own right as well. 4. Fallout 4. Many games attempt to explore what life might be like in a post-apocalyptic world, but few dive as deep as the Fallout games. Set 200 years after a nuclear war, Fallout 4 examines life in an irradiated version of Boston, where Fenway Park has become a shantytown, and the Massachusetts Institute of Technology has long since deviated from being a respected source of education. Some may look at Fallout 4 and say it's just Fallout 3 with a fresh coat of paint, but that surface-level evaluation ignores the nuanced storytelling that sets Fallout 4 apart from other wasteland-based games. As you explore Boston in search of your son, you grow not only as a warrior and survivalist, but also as a prominent figure in a society that's hanging by a thread. You navigate different social circles, search for meaning in a world gone mad, and meet fascinating people along the way. Some are objectively good, but it's not always easy to tell who will inevitably betray you and who you should trust. Everyone has their motivations, including you, and the manner in which Fallout 4 forces you to confront your position on various thorny issues after easing you into its topsy-turvy world makes it one of the most engrossing experiences that 2015 gifted us. 3. Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain. Hideo Kojima's Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain redefines stealth games. It breaks the mold of the genre by going open world. In doing so, it gives us the freedom to tackle missions using our own strategies, allowing for hundreds of memorable moments thanks to its emergent gameplay. Whether we choose to remain a ghost on the battlefield or take it on guns blazing, the game lets us create our own vision of Big Boss's legacy. Though it's easy to lose yourself to Phantom Pain's layered gameplay systems, it also features a gut-wrenching story that, in typical Kojima fashion, subverts our preconceived notions of the series, whether we're fans of it or not. It exceeds all expectations, using melodrama to tell a story of loss that shows us what living out the legacy of an iconic character can mean to us as players. Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain is a masterful piece of artistic storytelling and refined stealth that you won't find anywhere else. 2. Batman Arkham Knight. The power fantasy at the heart of Batman Arkham Knight remains one of the most seductive in all of gaming. Spend enough time brawling, blasting and winching, and you can liberate an entire city with a single tool belt and tank. Seriously, you're going to be doing a lot of winching. You can spend hours soaring above Gotham's skyline, tuning into radio dispatches from friends and foes alike. No one can touch you. If you hear a bunch of thugs wailing on a captive or daring to insult the Caped Crusader, you can swoop in and show them the cost of tempting fate. The city is your oyster. The combo heavy combat system that birthed a dozen action-adventure knockoffs remained fluid and physical. And the deep bench full of various Batman villains helps to liven up what would otherwise be boilerplate beat-em-up side quests. Like its predecessors in Rocksteady's Arkham series, Arkham Knight understands that Batman's toughest battles are mental. There's no villain more dangerous than the darkness looming in Bruce Wayne's mind. 1. The Witcher 3: Wild Hunt. A world so big you can lose yourself in it for days, a gruff-voiced lead character who somehow retains humour and humanity, and a menagerie of horribly memorable monsters and antagonists. Witcher 3 is everything you could want from an open-world role-playing adventure. It takes its fiction seriously, but not so seriously that some of the first side quests you happen across is helping an old woman find her favourite cooking pot. This is state-of-the-art mainstream game design. You can roam the countryside on horseback for hours, passing by ruined landmarks and abandoned settlements cast in gorgeous sunlight. The world is full of characters with personality and perspective, many of whom could easily play the lead in games of their own. But besides the massive world it features, The Witcher 3 is also responsible for the card game Gwent. The minigame soared in popularity, causing developer CD Projekt Red to announce in 2016 that they were working on transforming it into a standalone. Now, I know that 2015 gave us games more than just these titles I've mentioned today. So before I go, I think it's best I mention another gem that turns 10 this year, Xenoblade Chronicles X. 2015 was dominated by games with large open worlds, but none could match the scale of Mira, an alien planet with 5 massive continents. Mira's size would mean nothing if it wasn't filled with surprises. But sure enough, its landmasses are dense with otherworldly creatures and structures that defy explanation. The diversity of things to see is impressive, but so too is the number of game systems that you interact with while exploring, fighting, and managing your team. In this way, Xenoblade Chronicles X is a dream come true for people who like to tinker with options and manage long-term goals. Which titles were your favourites from 2015? Let me know in the comments section below. And if you enjoy gaming content and want more, be sure to check out the videos linked on screen.